The dog is sitting next to the woman. My sister wants to buy a car but she doesn't have enough money. Jim always forgets my birthday. He has asked me many times and still can't celebrate it. The little girl was hit by a truck on her way home and was badly hurt. Excuse me. I really need to go now. My kids are waiting for me at school. Amy's father is very sick. The doctors can do nothing for him, so Amy went to the temple to pray for him. I'm glad that my school has students wear uniforms. I don't have to worry about what clothes to wear to school. We are surprised that Sally and Ray decided to get married. No one knows why. They often fight with each other and are unhappy together. I don't think Katie will read any one of the books you've picked out for her. They look, very boring. Jenny's bag is very heavy because it is filled with toy cars. Take a map with you when you go to a place for the first time. The weather has been rainy and cloudy in the last few days. I hope the sun will come out soon. All the excuses Nick made say a lot about how much he hates to do the job. Sabine walks so lightly in the apartment that sometimes you don't even know she's just passed by. You wonder if her feet ever touch the floor. In the past, people thought it was a fresh idea to send emails and read news online, but now it is part of our everyday life. What is the book festival for? Inviting people to change books with each other. Sonia is busy packing some books for the book festival. Which is most likely one of them? A book of short stories in English. What happened in the story? A man ran away after he heard the writer's mother's voice. What can we learn about the writer and the man with a bag? The man did not want the writer to see things in his bag. What does the catch mean in the dialogue? A problem that is hidden behind something good. What does it mean in the dialogue? Taking care of Charlie. What do we know from the dialogue? Nate is surprised that Ruth was able to book a table at Leeds. What is this reading for? Getting people to stand up and speak for doctors. What does this problem mean in the reading? Doctors' long working hours. What does wonky marked care about? Seconds are thrown away because of how they look. What do we know about buying the seconds from wonky marked? If you buy 3 boxes, you will need to pay NT $900. What can we learn from the reading? No buses go from Apple City to Orange Island before the bus line changes. What does the report say about globalization's influence on the movie world? It has changed a country's domestic market for movies. What can we learn from the report? The fact that US movies are popular may mean the American way of thinking is popular. From the charts, which is true. In each of the 5 countries, the percentage of domestic movies has fallen. I had a horrendous experience last Saturday. That day, my family went camping near a big lake. While my parents were preparing dinner, my brother and I were playing by the lake. A dirty man appeared from somewhere, and his face was half covered by his hair. He walked to us and asked for some water. When I gave him water, the bag he carried dropped, and things inside fell out on the grass. I saw a rope, a knife, and a baseball bat. The strangest thing was that there were also a woman's shoe and a ring, and I'm sure they were not his. The man quickly put all his things back in the bag and looked at us angrily. At that moment, the picture of a man the police was looking for came to my mind. He was the crazy killer. I was so afraid that I could not move at all. Luckily, before he could get any closer, my mom shouted from far away, and the man hurried off into the dark. Ruth, I've got 2 tickets for a football game. The Lions versus the Sharks, front row seats, next Saturday. Interested? You can take Jessica to the game. Nate, how did you get the tickets? They were all sold out months ago. Ruth, and a table for two at Leeds. Nate, Leeds. But I called them yesterday and they said they were all booked for the year. Ruth, now it's yours. You and Jessica can have a lovely dinner there after the game. Nate, wait a second. This is just not like you. What's the catch? Ruth, well, you know this Friday I'm leaving for my vacation in London, and... Nate, and what? Ruth, and I was thinking if Charlie could stay with you next week. Nate, the whole week. Ruth, please. I can't just leave him in my apartment. Nate, you know I hate that stupid dog. And he hates me too. Ruth, please. You're my last hope. Nate, I need to think about it. Ruth, okay, but not too long. When you need to see a doctor, surely you will want to see a good one. But there is one important thing you may never have thought about. Has your doctor rested enough? Doctors in our country often have to work 34 hours or longer without sleep. Most of them work 104 hours a week, and some even 150. There are only 168 hours a week. One report said that a doctor who works such long hours cannot think more clearly than a drunk driver. Another found that doctors who sleep 5.8 fewer hours than the week before might make 22% more serious mistakes. Surely no one wants to get in a car that is driven by a drunk driver. So, how safe would you feel when you are under the care of a tired doctor? Sadly, this problem has been around for a long time. There are no laws about it yet, and hospital bosses don't look like they care either. And that is why we doctors are asking you to join us on the street this Sunday. Fight together with us on the street so we can fight better for your life in the hospital. Have you ever seen a pumpkin that looks like a nose or an apple that looks like a funny face? They may not look great, but they taste just as good as the pretty ones. These strange-looking fruit and vegetables are called seconds. About 20 to 40% of what farmers grow is not so beautiful. Sadly, these seconds seldom arrive at your table, but often go straight into the trash can. Why? It's because supermarkets don't want to buy them from farmers. They believe their shoppers only love beautiful things. Because of these seconds, some farmers lose a lot of money. Wonky Market wishes to change this. We're helping sell these seconds. Farmers can save them from the trash can, and you can get them at a lower price. Great news for people who travel between Apple City and Peach City. From July 2nd, we have 3 more buses to Peach City every day. A trip from Apple City to Lemon City or Berry City will take less time. From July 1st, you can go from Apple City to each of the 2 cities without changing buses. Dashing Shuttle is the first in the country to open a bus line between Apple City and Orange Island. From July 2nd, our bus will take you to Orange Island every day. Our bus line between Apple City and Grapetown will stop running on June 30th. From July 1st, changing buses at Guavatown or Banana Town will be the best way to travel. From July 1st, our bus runs from Apple City to Mango Island 3 times a day. You don't need to change buses at Melon City anymore. Thanks to globalization, we get to see movies from around the world. If anyone should feel most excited about globalization, it is US movie makers. A study in 2001 shows that, for every 100 people who go to the theater, 85 see US movies. This may be good news for US movie makers, but not for those in other countries. We can see that US movies have been popular in foreign markets. We can see that domestic movies in the 5 countries are not doing well in their domestic market. The falling market for domestic movies may be a serious problem, but there is something more important. When people welcome US movies with open arms, they in fact also say yes to the American way of thinking. Some people in these countries worry that what is lost may not just be their domestic market for domestic movies, but also their own way of thinking that has been passed down from parents to children. Jerry Stevens has been unhappy these months. He used to be a proud businessman of a successful shaved ice shop. His highest sales numbers were 1,899 plates a week. People called him Ice King. But all this changed when the cookie shop across the street started selling ice cream cookies. It took away half of his business. And things didn't get better when Dan, his dead sister's only son, came to work for him. Dan was a nice young man with a simple mind, too simple, maybe. He always let people try some shaved ice for free, but he never learned to see when some became too much. Many people came, but few bought. When the sales did not grow with the heat, Jerry started to worry. He wanted to send Dan home. But how could he? Dan had no family except him. Then, one day, good news arrived. And it was from across the street. The cookie shop was looking for a clerk. For Jerry, it was a great chance to get Dan out of his store without sending him home. After taking the shopkeeper to several nice dinners, Jerry got Dan the job. Now Jerry could finally try and save his store. And maybe Dan would help by sending him a few people who are thirsty from eating too many cookies. Englishman Robert Scott is known for leading 2 trips to Antarctica. The first one made him a star, the second cost him his life. After his first successful trip, Scott decided to be the first person to stand on the South Pole. However, he wasn't the only one who had this dream. He would be in a race with Roald Amundsen, from Norway. Both left their countries by ship in June of 1910 and arrived in Antarctica in January of 1911. About 10 months later, both teams started their trips down to the South Pole. And their ways of traveling decided which team would win. Amundsen's team used dogs, and Scott's team used horses. Because horses weren't good at traveling on snow, it took Scott's team 77 days to arrive at the South Pole. They got there on January 17, 1912, and were surprised to find that Amundsen was ahead of them. The news hit Scott very hard, but what he didn't know was that the worst had not come yet. His team began their long trip home with broken hearts. After days of terrible weather and little food, Scott lost his men one after another, and he himself was the last one to meet the end of his life. No one on his team lived to go back home and tell their story. It was only learned through Scott's diary.